Welcome back. As we know, Valentine's Day are all about hearts. They're shaped in candy-filled boxes. Mary even had one in her forecast on her map there. And as we talk about Valentine's Day and matters of the heart, we of course want to also talk about heart health, and February is Heart Health Month. We welcome back Dr. Ryan Stanton, UK emergency physician, with a look at some of the things you may not know about your heart and what can put it at risk.
Well, first we'll start off with what we see on Valentine's Day heart is all about. Actually, there's three theories as to where that version of the heart right there comes from. One is that it's a drawing of the actual heart. That is way off. There's no way that actually represents a real heart. But back in the day, they didn't have X-ray machines. That may have been an interpretation. Another that it has something to do with the female form. I'm not going that direction. Most interesting, though, is that it's after a seed in northern Africa back in the 7th century B.C. that actually ended up on a coin, and that's probably the most likely source of it. But what I'm talking about is the real legit heart right there. That's what the heart really looks like when it comes out of the body. Hopefully it doesn't need to come out of the body, but if you were to do so, that's what it would look like. About the size of a fist, 4 chambers, 2 atrium, and 2 ventricles. The atrium are actually responsible for filling the heart like a primer. The ventricles are responsible for pumping it through the body. The right side of the heart is responsible for pumping it through the lungs, where it picks up oxygen. The left side of the heart is much thicker, pumps it through the rest of the body, and gets it through the rest of the vessels. The heart's pretty amazing. 72 beats a minute on average, 100,000 beats a day, about 2.5 billion during the average lifetime, 2,000 gallons a day. So it's pretty impressive. The amount of blood that the heart pumps would be a faucet full on for 45 years. That's about how much your heart pumps during a lifetime. So it's an amazing organ, one of the most dependable in the body, and must keep up because if it stops for seconds, you go out and that could be it. So it's very important to take care of this very vital organ. So there's some very important things you can do to help take care of your heart, those being no smoking. And it's never too early to think about these things. Even children, most of the damage is felt to be done before we even think about it. 18, 20 years old, those ages are when we're starting to build up these early disease processes. So eating well, eating in moderation, watching that weight, exercising, staying away from smoking, which is a major contributor to that. In fact, had a relative recently, great health otherwise, heavy smoker, ate a lot of fast food type meals, and unfortunately had a heart attack very young. So it's something everybody needs to be thinking about. And this day, you want to be there for your loved one, for your sweetheart. You want to spend a long, happy life together, and that's some things you can do. And unfortunately, we do live in an area that is very prone to this sort of thing, to the heart disease. Typically down the Appalachians, swings right up under Kentucky and down the Mississippi Valley. And that's where the most common areas associated with heart disease and heart deaths are.
And so you have a great graphic to really, it literally shows the picture of how bad our area can be when it comes to heart disease.
The dark maroon there is the highest levels. As you see, our viewing area right here is right in the middle of that. A lot of the people we see in our practice every day and through our hospitals are people that live in these areas. And unfortunately, the vast majority of folks don't try to make lifestyle changes until it's too late.
And I know with you being in the emergency department, unfortunately, that can be the first time people really realize they have a problem, is when they show up in full distress or having a heart attack. What are some of the things you need to look out before it gets to that point?
First of all, and this is probably more catered towards men than anything else because men are horrible at this, don't sit around. Don't just sleep it off. If you have chest pain, if you have difficulty breathing, it feels like an elephant sitting on your chest, some of the most common descriptors, you need to get in and get checked out. That's what we're there for. As much as folks don't want us to have all kinds of busy times in the ER, that's what we're there for. We're there to check out emergencies, and I would rather be able to send you home and say, everything's fine, you don't have anything to worry about right now. But if we do need to do something, we need to get you there faster and get you to intervention and get that taken care of, because every moment that goes by is time that muscle could be lost in permanent deficit and actually have some long-term effects.
And before we let you go, because I know we follow your everyday medicine on Facebook and everything, you had an interesting tidbit in honor of Valentine's Day that if you're going for the chocolate today, dark chocolate is better for you.
There are some health benefits to dark chocolate. The milk chocolate doesn't fall into this realm. So if you're going out there and buying the typical shelf full of candies, try to head more towards the darker chocolates. They have a little health benefit. I'm not saying you need to eat it all the time, 3 meals a day. But a little bit there, do a little body good.
All right, so we'll take that home as well as all the other great advice. If you have questions for Dr. Stanton, you can just look for the Doctor on Call section of our webpage. You'll find that under the Health tab at WTVQ.com. Thanks for being with us. Happy Valentine's Day. We will be right back with a check of a forecast to warm your heart with Mary Watson.
Well, it's a very windy forecast across the Bluegrass. We'll see wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour throughout the day, but at least temperatures around average, if not above that. I'll show you that full detailed forecast coming right up after the break.